Hey everyone, it's Marla at Twinstrology. I hope that you're all doing well. Today we are going to do the twin flame energy update for the month of July. Now July is a huge month, and so before I even get started on the video, I want to just list some of the astrological happenings that are going on this month. So we have Mercury crossing the Sirius point on July 2nd. Now remember, this is the Sirius shifts year, so whenever we have a planet crossing Sirius, we are going through a shift. And a lot of what we're all experiencing right now was set into motion by Venus crossing the Sirius point. That was so powerful, and we have several things crossing the Sirius point in July. Mercury is the first one. Then we have a Capricorn full super moon on July 3rd. On July 5th, the sun is going to cross Sirius. Now when the sun crosses Sirius, and I'm hoping to do a video on this, that's going to be another huge shift. I mean, think about the sun. The sun is what activates us so much. A lot of energy comes through our sun, especially the energy from Sirius, which is the great central sun, comes down through our sun and into Earth. So we can expect a lot of activations, especially next week. Today is June 30th that I'm recording this video. So yeah, heading into next week, when all these planets are going over Sirius, you're going to feel activations. Then we have the 777 portal. July 7th in 2023 is a 7-year. The 777 portal is going to be huge. Another major shift. Then we have the Cancer new moon on July 17th. On the same day, the North Node enters Aries and the South Node enters Libra. So we've been in a cycle of the North Node being in Taurus and South Node in Scorpio for about a year and a half. Now that's shifting. So that's going to give us entirely new energy. On July 22nd, we have Venus going retrograde. Now Venus is already in her shadow. And like I said, we're all feeling it. There's a major shift and healing happening for the divine feminine energy in everybody. And it's going to get more intense when Venus goes retrograde. That's not to say that I'm predicting that things are going to be horrible, but I'm sure it's going to be intense. On July 23rd, Chiron is going retrograde. And I forgot to mention, on July 16th, Juno is going to cross Sirius. So it's like massive planetary shifts constantly happening this month. So yeah, I'm hoping to put out some articles and some videos sharing the information that I'm getting about these shifts. So, okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the winner of the Intuit Tarot. This is it. This is brand new deck, hasn't been opened. And the winner from last month's video is Ruta Lydia. Rutalydia. So Ruta Lydia, please send me an email at twinstrology@yahoo.com with your information so that I can send this deck out to you. Thanks everybody for playing and leaving your comments. And yeah, I would like to do more giveaways in the future. So that's something that I hope to work on. All right, let's just clear the energy. Things have been very heavy. I think a lot of you are feeling that as well. So let's center ourselves Get clear, get aligned with source, and ask for a specific message for yourself and your twin and what is happening. So the cards that we're going to be using today are the Twin Flame Oracle, the Sacred Traveler Oracle by Denise Linn, and the Question Oracle. So the overall energy of unions in July. Does my current situation have long-term stability? If so, how? If not, why? Okay, so our higher self is saying that there's something about our situation that needs to end. It's not bringing us the stability that we're looking for. So this is going to bring up some clearing, most likely. My or your children need to come first. Trust that they are part of our plan. And the alternate meaning here is our inner children need to come first. And that's really the message here that I'm going to take. There's healing that has to happen with everybody's inner child, because this is what is not allowing us to have the stability in our life that we're longing for. And basically this is triggers, because it's this unhealed child in us that gets triggered, and the fears get triggered. Now the Sacred Travel Oracle message is answering the call. The time is now. So we are in this time of transition. There's new pathways opening. New doors are opening. There's definitely, big changes afoot. It's just that it's taking longer to manifest than we expected. This is what was on the bottom of the deck, because I felt like this goes a lot with the energy. It's transformation, a fresh new way of living emerges. And that is this new pathway that's opening up. This has a lot to do with the serious shifts and the codes that are coming in and how it's activating us to change and to want to follow a new path. In order to follow this new path, there has to be a release of old fears. And that's where this healing of the inner child comes in. Because the inner child sometimes is afraid to walk a new path, to do something different. This answering the call too has a lot to do with service work. And that can be big or small, it just depends. And that service work and answering the call, the healing, that's for both the masculine and feminine. The masculine and feminine are needing to be more in sync within ourselves so that we have the strength to answer the call. Because we're definitely being called to new things. And a lot of it has to do with the ascension and helping people. That means that we need to speak out more. We need to share our viewpoints more. But this has to come from the heart. There's so much polarity in the world. And so when we come out with our voice, we don't want to be creating more polarity. Okay? We want to be healed enough so that our voice is bringing people a sense of peace, a sense of direction, a sense of hope. And that has to come from our heart and not our fears and not our ego. And so this is that pathway that's opening. So the song message for the overall energy of union is Within You and Without You by the Beatles. And I want to say that we had this song maybe last month or the month before. We were talking about the space between us all, and the people who hide themselves behind a wall of illusion never glimpse the truth. Then it's far too late when they pass away. We were talking about the love we could share. When we find it, try our best to hold it there. With our love, we could save the world if they only knew. Try to realize it's all within yourself. No one else can make you change. And to see you're really only very small, and life flows on within you and without you. And when you see beyond yourself, you may find peace of mind is waiting there. And the time will come when we see that we're all one, and life flows on within you and without you. So this goes along with what I'm saying. It's bringing our inner self into alignment so we can walk this new path. The thing is, when we come here to earth, we think everything is outside of us, and we search for happiness and we search for love in all these places outside of ourselves, not glimpsing the truth until it's all too late, right? That everything is within us. And that's why we all need to get in touch with our heart so that we can answer this call. We need to see the unity and the oneness. As twin flames, we spend so much time talking about separation and the pain of separation. But the truth is, that is not just about your twin or only about your twin. Like, the separation is we're separated from each other. Each of us has a collective, has a community. We feel separate. Even deeper than that, we have this separation from God. And we forget that God is within us. Our twin is within us. Every person on this planet already exists within us. And so we need not search any place else external to us to feel love and to feel hope and to be at peace with ourselves. So what is positive in unions? Is I feel abandoned. I often feel like others let me down. Okay, so this is in the position of what's positive. So at first glance, right, it's like, oh no. But this is telling us that the feelings of abandonment are healing, and that is really everyone's inner child's ultimate wounding is feeling abandoned, feeling like you're alone, that you're separate from everybody else, that no one cares about you. Okay, so going along with, the first card's messages, the universe is helping us heal this abandonment. And I feel like this has a lot to do with Venus retrograde, as well as the nodes shifting. I feel like with Venus going retrograde and Chiron going retrograde the next day, there's going to be probably feelings of abandonment triggered. But we need to hold on to the message that this is coming up to be healed. The Sacred Traveler Oracle card is Rejuvenating Rain. Clear the past, heal the present. Gosh, I was just thinking about rain because it's raining outside and it has been raining so much. I was thinking to myself before I started this reading, and I was pulling the songs, that the song should be Here Comes the Rain Again because of how much rain. Even on this card, she's walking through, it looks like this giant puddle, and we see this reflection. So we have to remember that the rain is cleansing and rejuvenating. Our tears are cleansing and rejuvenating. And it's helping us to clear the past so we can heal the present. So this is about clearing your childhood trauma for sure, because we have this inner child card. But this also has a lot to do with past lives. I mentioned in another video that if you were going to be traveling this summer, that you were likely going to be activating timelines for your own past lives. And a lot of you have messaged me to say that you are traveling and you're feeling that. I myself have been doing a lot of traveling as well. I was on vacation and I traveled to a lot of different places. And I know that I've activated at least 7 different timelines, including this lifetime. Those are only the timelines that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's timelines in those same places that I'm not aware of, because we keep incarnating in the same places. That is a truth that we hear about. We are drawn to the same places over and over again. But as we go about activating these timelines, it's very challenging because of the energy that it triggers. As we're healing and clearing those timelines, those old energies and emotions have to come up and out in order to be cleared. So we can be dealing with triggers. It can almost feel at times when we connect with certain places that like we're being attacked by dark energy. So it's important to remember that. Again, you're not always aware of what you're connecting to. And you don't even need to be traveling to do this, because for many of you, the house that you're on is connected to another timeline. But we have connected with that timeline more. So it's, unless it's activated by something else, we're usually aren't so triggered by it like we are when we travel and then we hit something, different. But yeah, the universe is saying that what's positive is something about the past, and in our past painful memories and emotions are being cleared away at this time. The song for what is positive for us is 1,000 Years by Sting. 1,000 years, 1,000 more, 1,000 times 1,000,000 doors to eternity. I may have lived 1,000 lives, 1,000 times. An endless turning stairway climbs to a tower of souls. If it takes another 1,000 years, 1,000 wars, the towers rise to numberless floors in space. I could shed another 1,000,000 tears, 1,000,000 breaths, 1,000,000 names, but only one truth to face. I still love you. 1,000 times the mysteries unfold themselves like galaxies in my head. On and on the mysteries unwind themselves, eternity still unsaid, till you love me. So another song here about the other timelines, past lives, cycles, and really getting down to the core of this, which is there is only one truth, and that is love. We could even, take the person out of it. Take your twin flame out of it for a moment. The truth to everything is simply love. But when we have these deep soul connections like our twin, there's this tendency to trigger these negative things, these painful experiences from the past. So we have to remember, as I said, especially as we move through July and into August in the Lion's Gate, when you're triggered, okay, it may not really have to do with what's happening in your life now or what's happening, with your twin now. It's really like these other timelines, but we're just not aware of it. So yeah, try to step out of that energy for a moment and think about a bigger picture. think about, the 1,000 lives that you lived, the tower with numberless floors, and focus on, you have to let go, is what I'm trying to say, of maybe things that you're feeling about people or situations now sometimes, because you won't understand why that's triggered, but it's a past life situation. Okay, and what I'm getting is that you're often immobilized by these past life situations, and they're creating big blocks for you, but you just don't understand, because often you're not aware that this is what the block is. And it's easy to look at the people around you, especially your twin, and point the finger at them or become afraid of them when it's really something bigger, even though they might be involved in that past life as well. So what challenges us? Please don't give up on me. I'm trying to change, but it takes time. Yeah, one of the big issues I feel right now in the collective energy is just that people are out of patience. It's frustrating. There's a desire to give up for sure, because you may be feeling like nothing's manifesting. You're feeling like you've worked so hard at things, and you're getting signs that things are going to manifest, but then they don't. And then you're questioning your intuition. You're questioning what is real. You're questioning whether you should hold on to that thing or let it go, maybe thinking that it's not meant for you. And so the universe here is saying that things are changing, but they're not changing as fast as we desire. And we have to persevere and not give up. Unknown territory is the other card. You are exactly where you need to be. So as we answer the call and we go into the new pathway, it's unknown territory. And that's scary. And that's what's triggering this abandonment. Because we're not sure, we don't know. Remember 2 months ago in the reading that we had, the message was that new pathways are opening. And so again, that was 2 months ago. And we're still getting these messages that the new pathway is open, but it's like, where is it? Be patient, because things are changing. And don't let your fear take a hold of you. Things are moving at the right time to be in alignment with the universe and with the collective energy. And it could be that it's going to be winter before we see some kind of significant shift. Or I'm looking at this snow and stuff on this card, and so it's like maybe something is frozen in time. And we have to fight that inner frustration and desire to give up right now. And I think that, this can be triggered by that, because we can feel like God's letting us down, because you're hearing promises, but you're not seeing the shifts, and you're wondering, like, is God, are the angels, are they listening? Do they hear me? Are they helping me? Or am I just going to be like stuck in this limbo forever? The card that was on the bottom of the Twin Flame Oracle is, you show up in my dreams. It helps me process buried memories. I feel like that goes with this too, because a lot of the past life stuff are buried memories. A lot of you will connect with your past life energy in your dreams. as well. And so if you're getting dreams, sometimes you may not know they're connected to a past life, but if you're having like reoccurring dreams, especially if there's like something traumatic about them, that could be connected to a past life situation. So the song for What Challenges is Plain Gold Ring by Kimbra. Plain gold ring on his finger he wore. It was where everyone could see. He belonged to someone but not me. On his hand was a plain gold ring. Plain gold ring had a story to tell. It was one that I knew too well. And in my heart it will never be spring as long as he wears that plain gold ring. Nighttime comes calling on me. I know why I'll never be free. I can't stop these teardrops of mine. I'm gonna love him till the end of time. Plain gold ring has but one thing to say. I'll remember till my dying days. In my heart it will never be spring as long as he wears that plain gold ring. Okay, so there's a couple things here. I mean, the obvious thing is for some of you, your person's going to be married. And that could be a challenge. But I think that we can apply this to everyone, especially if we're considering this energy on a multidimensional level. Because this song is really about separation and being brokenhearted and feeling hopeless. And that's that energy that everyone needs to fight right now. The feeling that there's something blocking and this union will never come together. And, you know, it could be a ring, it could be something else. It could be past life situations where you were married to someone else, past life situations of separation by death, so many things. But yeah, I think we have to just take away the feeling of hopelessness and feeling like your happiness depends on that person, perhaps. And part of our journey is stepping out of that. I mean, that is kind of the ultimate codependence, is feeling like if this person isn't with me, I can never be happy. We have to heal ourselves so that we can be happy on our own. And for many of you, you have agreed to this journey where you've agreed to going like the full way, the full way of clearing codependence and into the idea that you are never abandoned and you can find happiness. I'm not saying that you're going to be alone forever, but it's moving through that fear that you're going to be alone forever, or that you'll never have love, you'll never have happiness, because that's not true, because God has not abandoned you. Okay, let's talk about the feminine energy. What do you need to know about today or the week ahead? So basically this is Spirit saying that they're giving a heads up about what you need to know about your future. The Sacred Traveler card is Wandering Path, enjoy the journey. So kind of the overall theme here is that the pleasure is in the journey and not necessarily in the end goal, or that you need to learn to appreciate the journey instead of just focusing on, I need to get to some destination, which is often the union, right? I need to get to the union, I need to get to the union. And every day that you're not at that goal that you've set, that can bring up negative energy. And Spirit is saying here, like, every day there's something to be grateful for. Every day there's positive things around you. Every day magic is happening. So allow the journey to unfold in the time that it needs to, and find that inner happiness. What the feminine is healing is, I'm tired of being away from you physically. I'm trying to process my fears so I can come back to you. So the big thing here is the feelings of separation. And this is the similar energy to what came out in June. That the feminine was frustrated with the continuing separation, and you're feeling like you've done so much work, and why is this thing not shifting? And perhaps questioning, having doubts about your future, wanting to give up. Now it does say, I'm processing my fear so I can come back to you. Now it's going to be Venus retrograde, and Venus retrograde tends to hit the feminine energy harder, just like Mars retrograde tends to hit the masculine energy a little harder, even though we're all feeling it. And so I feel like with Venus retrograde, these fears are going to be coming up for the feminine. And sometimes it's hard for you to see that you still have blocks in yourself. Even though, there's so much work that we do, and that's not to downplay the work that has been done. But, right, there's these maybe 1,000 lifetimes. Not saying that we have to heal and clear 1,000 lifetimes, but we have to remember once again that there's more to this story than the here and now. It's a multi-dimensional journey, and we often don't have the full map. It's like we only have a piece of the map, and we're trying to find our way in the dark. And sometimes we go off our path. We always come back to where we need to be, even if it takes us a little bit of time, but that's why they're saying enjoy the journey. How this is showing up is our inner guidance is clear, but our ego is resisting it. So there's something that the ego is resisting about this situation. We do have a full moon on the card, so this is likely to be triggered at the Capricorn supermoon on July 3rd. It does say draw another card to clarify, so let's do that. If I can find my cards. Oh, they're here. Okay. What is being resisted? What are we resisting from inner guidance? I close my eyes and imagine you're here with me. It feels so real. I'm beginning to understand this is what it means to be in 5D with you. Okay, so the message that we're getting about what is being resisted is understanding that it's not just the here and now. This is a 5D connection, and there's so much more going on than we can see. And what Spirit wants us to focus on is the love. No matter what is happening in the 3D, we need to focus on love. And if focusing on your twin and the love is just not there at this time, then focus on God's love, Goddess's love, whatever term you need to use for source that feels good for you. Fill yourself up with source energy, and bring your focus there if there are challenges with feeling at peace with your twin journey. How this is being transformed. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head, it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me. Okay, so what I'm really getting about this card is this is a message from Source that we are connected. We're always hearing Source. We are never abandoned. We just have to tune into that frequency. For some of you, you know, this is also about the twin. And when we are in this fifth dimensional heart space, we have that connection with them. So this, something about a deeper connection is opening up. I feel like for a lot of you, it's going to be this connection to Source, but it's that connection to Source that helps us love our twin more as well, because it's through that connection to Source that we can heal the broken heartedness and the feelings of separation and any feelings of frustration. Okay, so the song for what the feminine is experiencing is She's Waiting by Eric Clapton. She's waiting for another love, someone that she can show into her heart. And when she finally finds a stronger love, your whole world is going to fall apart. I see a hunger burning in her eyes. Any fool could see there's something wrong. You keep pretending not to care, but I will hear you sing a different song. She's waiting for another love. So, first of all, we have the title, and that's an important message based on what we just talked about. And that is the feminine is feeling frustrated with waiting and with being alone. Now in the song, it talks about she wanting to, you know, move on and find a new love. And so some of you could be experiencing that as well. You could be like tired of waiting, frustrated with your twin, and looking to find someone new. Sometimes that is difficult because we're not meant to find someone new, basically, at times. But that in itself can be frustrating. I feel like there's this conversation happening between the masculine and feminine. And a lot of it has to do with, you know, like the card says, any fool could see there's something wrong. You keep pretending not to care, but I will hear you sing a different song. So a lot of the problem is, for many of you, your masculine is not saying anything, doing anything. There's no 3D activity at all. And for those of you that are in that situation, that is the most frustrating aspect of all. And so I think that there's this push-pull between the masculine and feminine of moving past that block of communication, of activity, some kind of sign. So the message that the feminine gives to the masculine is Love Hurts by Incubus. Tonight we drink to youth and holding fast to truth. I don't want to lose what I had as a boy. My heart still has a beat, but love is now a feat, as common as a cold day in LA. Sometimes when I'm alone, I wonder, is there a spell that I am under, keeping me from seeing the real thing? Love hurts, but sometimes it's a good hurt, and it feels like I'm alive. Love sings when it transcends the bad things. Have a heart and try me, 'cause without love, I won't survive. So, yeah, I feel like the feminine is giving the message to the masculine of the, you know, what we've talked about, the frustration, that love is hurting right now. You may be, it could be painful. You know, this connection to your twin at this time could be painful. But there's also this message from Source at the same time that this is what is breaking apart the past and all these cords to other things that's going to help you transform. So let's talk about the masculine. What guidance is there for making progress in my love life at this time? So the masculine wants to progress, I feel like, you know, your person isn't happy where they are either. So let's see what is going on with them. Voyage of the heart. Love flows through you and to you. Very similar message to that song, Within You and Without You. So I feel like your person is still working on opening up their heart. Looking at this water on here, it's taking me back to this. I feel like for the masculine, it's been hard for them to open their heart because, you know, in multiple lifetimes, they basically like just shut down and become frozen inside. And that's kind of their go-to pattern when they feel abandoned, is just to shut down. That makes it challenging in the twin flame journey because your person may just, you know, every time it gets too intense, shutting down, and not pushing past that to actually go into the healing. Yeah, that's what I'm getting about the masculine. Now there is this mirroring energy going on as well. So one thing that we can do is look at how we might be shutting down. When it gets too intense, are you shutting down as well? And you want to try not to do that because that just makes it easier for your person to shut down. And they need to pull through. They need to go through the whatever they have been repressing and not wanting to feel. They need to take that voyage. What they're healing. I never felt love like this before. The depth of it can be inspiring, but also overwhelming. Yeah, they get overwhelmed and they shut down out of fear. And underneath that fear, at the core of it, is they feel like they're going to be abandoned too. They often have different ways of dealing with it than the feminine does. The opposite in many cases. Although, you know, it's not unheard of for twins to have the same kind of pattern. You know, maybe both running, for example. Both anxious bonders or both avoidant bonders. But often it's an anxious bonder and an avoidant bonder. With the masculine, how this is showing up for them is as twin flames, we're here to ascend and help others to do the same. So, and it was just 1111 on the counter here. So there's an ascension wave happening. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of activations in July. And everybody, including the masculine, is going to get pulled up. And in that process, they have to look at what's going on inside their heart. How this is being transformed. I watch you on social media and the internet. It's my way of staying close and finding out more about you. As I've said before, this card to me, besides being watched, this card often is like thinking about communicating, wanting to communicate, but there's some feelings of insecurity, there's feelings of rejection, the inner child wound has been like preventing that communication from happening. But Spirit is trying valiantly to work with everybody to move through this communication block. So I know that if any of you out there watch any kind of tarot readings on YouTube, I mean, what is the message that you're seeing over and over and over again? This person is going to contact you. This person wants to reach out. And you kind of see that over and over again. That's because that is what's in the energy, is we're trying to free up communication. But you can also see that it takes a lot longer than we expect. Sometimes, you know, it's, and everybody's different, but if you're watching too many of those videos that are like telling you, and then you're not seeing it happen, you know, you go into that state of questioning. So you have to remind yourself, things take longer than we expect. But yeah, just to kind of show you guys that definitely this communication is in the energy. Everyone's picking up on it, but apparently there's still some things that are in the way, and that's what we're needing to work on. So the song that's the overall theme for the masculine is once again Synchronicity by The Police. I think this was definitely a card that came up for the masculine within the last 2 months. With one breath, with one flow, you will know synchronicity, a sleep trance, a dream dance, a shared romance, synchronicity, a connecting principle linked to the invisible, almost imperceptible, something inexpressible, science insusceptible, logic so inflexible, casually connectable, yet nothing is invincible. If we share this nightmare, then we can dream Spiritus Mundi. If you act as you think, the missing link, synchronicity. I feel like this synchronicity card keeps showing up for the masculine because they are being guided by synchronicities. They're getting that all the time, and they're having to break down a lot of these things. Like this song talks about logic so inflexible, science insusceptible. A lot of the masculine energies tend to want to be very logical. That is what the masculine energy represents. But what they're also doing is integrating more of their feminine energy. So the feminine energy within is growing, and it's going to grow a lot during Venus retrograde. It's growing inside, and it's saying, look, you cannot be so logical. Remember, these cards are, there's no separation anymore between twins. So what's happening here is also happening here. What's happening here is happening here. So remember what we talked about here, right? We're resisting our inner guidance, that there's more to life than we can see, and that we are connected to something bigger. That's not just happening for the feminine, but the masculine is feeling that too, and that's what the synchronicity is. The signs and synchronicity, the symbols, are all helping the masculine to align. They need to align with the energy of their twin. Now the message that the masculine is sending to the feminine is "This Is It" by Kenny Loggins. The waiting is over. No, don't you run. Nowhere to hide. No time for wondering why. It's here. The moment is now. About to decide. Let them believe. Leave them behind. But keep me near in your heart. Know whatever you do, I'm here by your side. For once in your life, here's your miracle. Stand up and fight. Make no mistake where you are. This is it. You're going no further. This is it until it's over and done. No one can tell what the future holds. Your back's to the corner. This is it. You make the choice of how it goes. The waiting is over. This is it. So it's kind of interesting how the feminine's card was she's waiting, and this song from the masculine is this is it. The waiting is over is the last line. Now, is it over? I don't know. Spirit is still telling us to be patient. But the pressure is definitely on the masculine, like I said. They have to heal. They have to begin to take action. They cannot live in this state of frozen. I'm trying to get a word here that they're telling me. Suspended animation is what my guides are saying. They can't sustain the suspended animation forever. This is it. It's time to act. A lot of them are still trying to break away from karmic patterns, whether it is the marriage or whether it's something else in their life that has been creating blocks and limitations. And I feel like, you know, this song, This Is It, for the masculine, it's about them letting go. And we see on this card, this ship is heading up this big wave, right? And they might be afraid. They might be afraid because, right, all of us only have a piece of the map. We don't have the whole map. We have to go into unknown territory. And their inner children are afraid of unknown territory because when you're in unknown territory, you're not in control. But Spirit is saying this is it. It's time to let go. It's time to break free. And yeah, that breaking free is about them dropping the past. You can't be sucked into the past anymore. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's time to learn that lesson and move on. Okay, so the future. Am I truly being open with this person? Or am I creating subconscious barriers to this relationship? I'm pretty sure we had this card last month too. You can see like the energy does not shift that frequently. I'm only doing these readings once a month and we still get a lot of the same, even exact cards coming up. I'm just saying that because when we do watch a lot of videos on YouTube, you know, it creates expectations of certain time frames, and sometimes we have to be a little bit more patient. So what are the subconscious barriers? Union is an energy, not a physical construct. Even when we aren't together, I feel our union. So again, moving past the 3D and remembering the deeper connection. This is a multi-dimensional, eternal connection. It's not just about now. So don't let that create a barrier. When one of us is sad or angry, it creates an energetic match and frequency with the other. Stay conscious of this, and if possible, try to elevate it. So, as I said, there's mirroring going on, and this energy, if there's negative energy being released, it could be going back and forth between the two of you. So just, again, keep that in mind. What you're experiencing, what you might get triggered by is probably something that's your twin is also going through. And we've got to kind of step out of victimhood and try to not blame. I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. So this is another subconscious barrier for both twins. It's feeling unworthy, feeling like you're not good enough. And, this is one of those things that goes back and forth because, maybe the masculine feels like they're not good enough, so they're not communicating and they're not reaching out. Then the feminine internalizes that as they're rejecting me because I'm not good enough. If they cared about me, they would reach out to me. And so that energy just goes back and forth. That, that could even go deeper. And then the masculine subconsciously picks up on the feminine and feels even worse about the situation. So we need to become more aware of what these subconscious barriers are. Remember, I was saying sometimes it's hard for the feminine to understand that they haven't cleared everything. And indeed, things are subconscious by the very meaning of that word. It's not an energy that's conscious within us. So we have to stay vigilant. So what the Sacred Traveler cards say is coming is rainbow blessings. Blessings are showering your life. And what I just noticed on this card is there's this doorway, just like here, there's this doorway. Something's opening up. There's a new beginning, new pathways. They are coming and they're full of blessings. When I asked what the blessings were, I got these two cards. The first one is First Light, beginning a new cycle. Okay, remember all the shifts. I want to say when the sun crosses a Sirius point, that's going to be the beginning of the new cycle. We also have a new moon here, so the Cancer new moon could be playing a role in that for some of you as well. We have different seasons on here. We did just have the summer solstice. So that summer solstice actually could be the new cycle. I was away traveling and I wasn't even focused on what was happening astrologically with anything that happened at the end of last month. And then we have this card, Miracles. Expect the wondrous to emerge. Here's another new moon here. So there are miracles. There is a new pathway. If we can focus on being patient a little bit longer. So the song about the future is Do You Want to Know a Secret by the Beatles. You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer, let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. So again, there's this secret, not expressing. And I guess I didn't really say too much about this, maybe a little bit at the beginning. But how this is playing out is for the masculine, it's being willing to speak their truth to their feminine. To the feminine, it's being willing to expose themselves publicly and answering this call. Now, we can't say that's set in stone, remember, because we're all both and there's no separation. So it could be happening for both people, but that's just what I'm feeling. So I asked Source, our secret's going to be revealed in the next couple of months. And the song I got was Ricky, Don't Lose That Number by Steely Dan. We hear you're leaving, that's okay. I thought our little wild time had just begun. I guess you kind of scared yourself, you turn and run. But if you have a change of heart, Ricky, don't lose that number. You don't want to call nobody else. Send it off in a letter to yourself. Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you own. You might use it if you feel better when you get home. So definitely these cards go together in that communication is the central theme and really the major block here for twins. And like I said, the universe is assisting everybody with moving forward, and what we can do is just surrender to divine timing. If you're interested in the Twin Flame Oracle or the Question Oracle, I will put the links below. If you would like a personal reading, I'll also link my website in the notes below. Sending you all a lot of love. Have a blessed month, and speak to you again soon.